Hey guys, hey everybody. We are here at Sungate Center. My name is Rita Board, and we start a new program with amazing spiritual people with beautiful souls, Steve and Sharon Berkowitz.
Thank you so much. So good morning, Divine Ones.
Good morning, everyone.
We are so excited to be here representing the Divine One Center. My name is Sharon, and this is my husband, Stephen. Today, we have the honor and privilege to speak about the 4 principles that will help you to an enlightened path and meet with your infinite potentiality. We are here at Sungate Center in Wheeling, Illinois, that offers classes, private healing sessions, sound healing, and other amazing events, as well as a John of God crystal bed, and so much more. Now, I would like to introduce my husband, Stephen. Stephen, as the enlightened one, knows that the separation never occurred. He is a teacher, speaker, and a successful business entrepreneur. Stephen is utmost, kind, and a heart-centered, compassionate encourager for all on their path. He loves taking every person from where they are to their next level, resolving duality, polarity, bringing it back to oneness as source. He offers great success to others, helping you to look inside, discovering who am I and why am I here? Stephen's ultimate life dedication is being the way shower, for love is all there is. Love is the beginning, middle, and end. Love is the answer to everything, as that is all that's real. Everything else is an illusion.
Thank you, Sharon, for the inspiring and wonderful introduction. Now, I would like to say something about my lovely wife to the audience. Sharon receives divine guidance from Akashic Records, helping others discover truth of self, bringing harmony, balance, and a deeper awareness into your life. Illuminating your enlightened path towards successful relationships and health is her greatest joy. Free your heart walls trapped emotions that block your heart energies through the body with new possibilities of love. Healing experiences with Sharon raises your vibrational frequency toward success, happiness, and love through clarity, wisdom, and great understanding in the world. You can access and contact with spirit through individual and group readings. Follow your heart, igniting creativity, self-esteem, and success.
Thank you so much, Stephen. So our topic for today is to awaken from this dream. You must align with these 4 principles. Why? Only because they were designed to take you from the illusory victim consciousness in this mythia to unity consciousness beyond the egoic mind. Of course, there are many paths. However, the end result is this: self-realization. Always remembering that self-realization, which is awakening from the dream of separation, is only a doorway to beyond dualism. Here's one path and a recipe that will assist you on your path. So enjoy.
Okay, thank you. These principles will change your life if you use and integrate them. Awakening is the knowledge there is no duality because the separation never occurred.
That's great. So what does that mean when we talk about duality?
Okay, duality obviously means 2 or more. So the thing is, so there, in the illusion, there exists duality everywhere. It's all the illusion is. So it's you and me, yes and no, higher and lower. It's sky and earth. Whenever there's 2, that's duality. Now, that's all part of the 3D illusion. The only thing that truly exists is, you hear the word oneness. And what does the word oneness mean? It means there is one with no separation. It's indivisible. And it's what it is. So there is only one vibration. Now that vibration is God, it's light, it's love. And it's not the love where you say there's love, there's hate, love, there's fear. This is unconditional love. It's actually beyond this. It's love that has no opposite. And that's what being in the one is. That's when they say that we are all one. That's what oneness means.
And that means that we're not in separation. So when you say the oneness, so can you explain a little bit more about when we talk about the separation never occurred?
Well, yes. See, what it is, separation separation, again, is duality. So the point is, everything is an illusion. Anything, there's a Buddhist expression that's transitory. Anything that's born or dies, anything that's created is uncreated. So that's what the illusion is. That's what separation is. And beyond this is singularity. And what it is the illusion never created because we are God. And anything beyond that, anything beyond love, is the separation.
And emanates from God.
And emanates, yes, thank you. So being able to let go of resistance is to bring yourself into alignment with all that is Source or God. So you can use these principles to go beyond your egoic mind to heal perceived, unhealed wounds. Trigger points is what the egoic mind believes is necessary. Now, resistance shows you where you are veiled. Here's to unlearning the perceived lessons learned when taken to the heart. So let's begin.
But I have a question about being veiled. What does that mean, that when we have resistance and we're just not following our true path because we're either in fear or something is bothering us or we have obstacles? So how can we know that we're being veiled or what is happening?
Okay, well, we can do it. Probably we'll do a whole dissertation on being veiled. But what veiled means is, before we come into, after this lifetime, we go up into the bardos or wherever we may go, everything, all that goes there is our essence, our spirit, or some people call it our soul, whatever word they want to use. And so in this place, you can see everything and you know everything. And then when we come back down into this incarnation, what there is, there's a veil or a period of forgetfulness. And what we do is we come back and forget this. And part of our job is to remember this. And like I said, we could do a whole talk on being veiled and how we pick our parents, and everything is happens for a reason.
Right.
No coincidences.
And so it's just about remembering who you truly are. So now we're going to begin with the 4 principles.
Okay, principle 1 is to see and understand that what you are experiencing is exactly what you want. There are no exceptions to this rule. You are exactly where you want, otherwise you'd be in some other place. Now, principle 1 is the most important, especially at the beginning, because you can't get to principle 2, 3, or 4 until you're in absolute agreement and compliance with number 1. Okay, can any of you relate to not getting all your goals met?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Can each one of you pick in your life something that you have huge resistance for, and you're not getting your needs met no matter how much you try? Sharon, can you imagine something?
Yes, I have something.
Rita, can you pick one thing in your life that you're not getting that you really, really want? Just keep it in yourself. Thank you. Okay. I think we all can.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so remember, you are exactly where you want to be. Otherwise, you'd be someplace else. Now, allow me to share an experience with me. In the story, Stephen wanted to lose 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds of weight. And Stephen just went to the doctor. And Stephen said, actually, I should be 40 pounds less. Wow. So, and I want to be in better physical shape. Now, almost every day, Stephen says, I wanna, and I'm going to eat a healthier dinner. Stephen knows exactly what to do and exactly how to do it. And yet Stephen is still gaining weight. So why? Why is Stephen not getting what he asked for? How much does Stephen really want to lose weight and be in better shape? Again, remember the principle, which is hard to remember sometimes. You're exactly where you want to be. Otherwise, you'd be someplace else. So what's the answer? What blocks you and keeps you stuck? You see, you got to want to change more than you want to stay the same. The minute you want to change more than you want to stay the same, you will. It's your choice. We all know what Albert Einstein said. Insanity is thinking and believing that if you do the same thing over and over again, you'll get a different result.
And too, it's like taking a step forward. And if you don't like that step, do it again. Make another choice, re-step, rethink it, and then move forward.
Yes. And the thing is, going into this thing about Albert Einstein again, many of us have heard this before, and we say, oh yeah, that makes sense. So on an intellectual basis, we understand that. But if you take it deeper, every single person that's not actualized is repeating the same thing over and over again. They're patterns from our childhood. So why are we doing this? We keep getting the same result, no matter what it is, everywhere in our life. So if you want to change, how do you do it? That's where we want to go. So the thing is, on a scale of 1 to 10, I ask myself, how much do I really want to change? And if it's a 3, 4, 5, 7, or 8, say, you know something? I'm really not ready to change. But the point is be happy where you are. Say, you know something? I'm not ready. So don't be in resistance. Say, right now, I'm okay with it where I am. And that's perfect if you're okay with you are.
And not to judge that either, that if you're okay where you're at, then just be knowing that you can change when you're ready.
Right. And you're okay with where you are. But in my case, I don't know how it is for you, but I want to change to a 10. So I said to myself, if I want to change to a 10, why aren't I? Am I 100% committed 100% of the time? And at first on the surface, I thought yes, but I went deep within. I said, you know something? I'm really committed some of the time, 100%, and some of the time I'm not. So the answer is really, I'm not really committed 100% of the time, 100%. Take 100% responsibility.
Absolutely. So there are no exceptions to this. And if you're unable to move on to 2, 3, and 4, it's because you're not in absolute agreement with principle number 1. So if you're not in agreement, then look at your egoic mind. See where you're in discord, have resistance, or what's really showing you the opposition of what is. So in other words, live in your highest and best knowing. What you have is vibrating and mirroring exactly what you want. It has to, or you would not be experiencing what you're experiencing. So people attract other people, places, and things based on your concepts, your beliefs, and perceptions, and they show up as principle number 1. And that states because you want what you have. Your states of mind, in other words, that means feelings, create your perceived reality, and each state of mind shows you your level of vibration. What is mirrored to you is also a gift to provide you the love you need in that moment, believing that there is something or anything that is other than love.
Yes. So principle 2, okay, look at your underlining motivation and agenda of your ego's perception of what needs that your ego is being attached to and getting met, and what and why you're doing what you're doing. Okay. For me, this is really important. It's taking a deep breath, and before I speak, before I act, before I do anything, ask yourself, what's your underlying motive and agenda? Ask yourself, is this uplifting and supporting to all? Is it supportive to you? Is it supportive to me? Is it? If the answer is no, be quiet and don't talk. You will be a much happier and successful person with yourself and others.
And when you say don't talk, what you're saying is to take a breath or a step back, because what you're speaking from is not a place of love. If you're already triggered, or if you have something that you wanted to express and you're not really ready to express it, it's better to just relax and take a moment.
Right. You'll have no regrets if you're not in judgment or criticism against someone else. Okay, now let me give you an example. I have a friend, Joy. And I said, Joy, how much did you want to be the best at karate? She said, with all my heart, with all my soul. Joy, how many days a week did you practice? 7, sometimes before competition, even 8. I said, Joy, how many years did you practice? 20 years. And what happened after 20 years? I became the national karate champion in the country. Wow. So that's the answer. Now, you may not have to practice as much as Joy, but you get the idea that if you want to achieve something, you will.
Absolutely. And when you go deeper into your what, your when, and your why, you'll see why you're doing what it is that you're doing or saying. So if you can honestly look deeply enough, you'll see and not hide your ego's reasons from yourself that you are meeting egoic needs of your separate I self. When you see that it was your ego that moved you, you'll understand what your needs and motivation are truly about. So here's the lesson. The ego's mind are always about serving your ego. The cleverness of the ego hides this fact and has you believing you are doing or saying whatever it is for
So
another.
in other words, you're being of service to self,
That's
not of
correct.
service to others. And that's one of the biggest lessons we can learn
That is a big lesson.
another time.
So it's also discover the ego's manipulation of this. And then once you've mastered this and you've just mastered principle number 2, you're truly being of service to another, and it's not about serving your own ego.
Yes. And principle 3 is take everything to source and see where it fits, because physical reality is an illusion created by consciousness to rediscover itself. Think, for example, about something you don't like about yourself. Maybe, I can relate to these. Maybe you feel undervalued, belittled, or overlooked. And this is about how you feel about source, or you feel source feels about you.
And it's also about your self-worth, feeling worthy, and it's also about your self-esteem. So it's really becoming aware of how you're being triggered and what's really going on with yourself. And when you take it to source, it's like taking it to someplace beyond you instead of being stuck in your egoic self.
Right. And so all of your issues and problems keep recurring over and over again, and they'll never stop until you resolve them. So ultimately, everything returns to source, because that's all that really is.
Yes, and the more we do that, we realize we're patterning, or something happened to us and when we were a child, and then something happens again later in life. It's just like what in the parenting. If a child is being scolded or being talked to and being talked down to, you may feel something that you're not being heard yourself, or later in life you experience that about not being heard or not being listened to, or maybe you're not worthy or not good enough. So these types of things show up again as a pattern, that what happens is then you realize it and you have that aha moment of awareness to say, oh, I'm in that pattern. And then that's your first step in getting out of that pattern.
Yes.
Okay, so this concept is also about superimposing, and it is showing your unhealed wounds in your personal eye. So no matter what it is, take it to source. So once you have integrated self as Brahman, there will be no more fragmentation of the egoic mind, per se, and nothing perceived unhealed. So for example, you can't shake something you're experiencing and it continually happens over and over, just like we were just talking about. And it's because you have an interest in that. It's because you have a misperception, and that you've superimposed on top of love your belief system, which is a misperception of the truth. And that's how it happens as a child. You start having these misperceptions of what truth really is. So Stephen, can you show an example?
Oh yeah, Sharon was talking about a misperception, and she's talking about source. So what I did is I learned a technique from my teacher, superimposing. And what it is, it's like a whiteboard. Now you can take whatever you want. So what it is just for a second, let's close our eyes.
Okay.
Center yourself and go to that place. And what I envision is God, source, or love. And it's all white. And everything all around me is like being in deep space. It's just white. And that's love, source. Now all of a sudden, you have a thought. I'm not good enough. And something goes on that white screen. Or you start talking about someone else's. I'm afraid, or this isn't right, or whatever the situation is. And now that thought is superimposed onto this white screen. And so you know that that's an illusion and that's not real. And this is what superimposing is. And then everything that exists is all good. So what we can do, and what we'll teach you one day, is how to dissolve all misperceptions, all thoughts, all beliefs, and all concepts. So that as all these things are happening to us, it's fine that they happen to us, as long as we don't have an interest to it, and attach an emotion to it. Because as soon as we attach an emotion to us, it becomes a misperception. So in another class, we'll teach you how to dissolve this. And while these things are happening, have no reaction to this, because everything is love. Everything is is a cry for love, as Marianne Williamson would say.
Yes, and your states of mind are experienced only in the mind and to the separate self. It's not in the heart. So you're here not because you haven't learned all your lessons, but it's because you have states of mind that have not yet been dissolved. And beliefs are superimposing, as we talked about on that whiteboard. And only the personal I, the separate self, needs a belief. So superimposing also can be, let's say you're traveling down a road, and you're going down this path, and either side is jungle, and you know you can't go through the jungle, and you see ahead of you in the path a bunch of snakes, and you're afraid of snakes, but you know that's the only way you can go, and you can't turn back. So you're going forward, and your blood pressure goes up, and you start perspiring, and you start getting nervous, and you're ready to fight. And as you get closer and closer, what you realize is all those snakes in the road were just a bunch of sticks. And when you see those sticks, you're like, you just take a deep breath and you could relax. And you're like, oh, what was that all about? That you were fearful for no apparent reason. And because it was a belief, it was something that you were thinking about. It was a misperception.
Oh, I get it. So it was a misperception or an illusion or mirage. And for me, I see the same thing in a different way. Like when I'm walking on the beach and it's a long walk away, it's really hot, and the air seems to be a little wavy. And all of a sudden in the distance, it seems like there's water out there. And I keep looking for the water. And the closer I get to the water, it keeps moving away. And so eventually I realized that that was just a misperception or an illusion. Mm-hmm. And so it's the same thing. So thank you for sharing that. So again, so now principle 4. Principle 4 is beyond the ego's concept of whatever it is the ego's need for synchronicity. And your agenda no longer exists. And what is good for all at that point. So, and synchronicity is like one of the most important words there are. It's synchronicity and compassion. They're the highest place of 3D that one can go. So, synchronicity is allowing what is and accepting what is with no resistance. It's experiencing the flow in divine perfection.
Yeah, and I see synchronicity too as, you're thinking about somebody and all of a sudden you may even run into them, like in a shopping mall. I was just thinking about you, or they may be calling you on the phone. And it was just setting out that vibration, that energy about another person. And something just shows up and said, oh, that was synchronistic. That was a coincidence. So that was really interesting about synchronicity. So also the space and principle number 4 is also about where you're being uplifting and supportive. And this is where that lives. All is one, and one love is all there is. This presents as service to others, divine love. In the Mythia, you create and are 100% responsible for everything in your life. You are the creator and creation of all that you experience. Each now moment is an infinite field of possibilities. The realization that everything and nothing is the eternal now. You've heard it maybe of Eckhart Tolle's book. He wrote The Presence of Now. And there's nothing else to experience. Why? Because there is no opposite or other. The moment judgment stops you from freeing up your mind, and you're open to what is, and now you're in the present now essence. So enjoy these 4 principles and be awakened to the truth.
Okay. In conclusion, remember principle 1, you are exactly where you want to be. There are no exceptions. So the point is, if you're unhappy or not satisfied where you are, realize that you're the one that created it. And if you're the one that created it, here's the good point. You can uncreate it. Don't project out into the outer world. Don't blame, don't judge, don't compare with others. It's never about another person, place, or thing. Now, this is another thing that I learned that really helped me. So when you blame someone else, it's like pointing a finger at someone else, or it's about you. It's you taking your quality and putting it on someone else. So it's like putting a finger out there. So you're projecting it outward. So actually what's happening is you're projecting it out there. And the truth is what happens, it goes like this, it goes out there, up into the universe, and it comes back 3 times to you. So whatever you're saying about another person, like I don't like you, So what you're actually saying is, I don't like myself.
It's not even about words. It might be your thoughts, which work even stronger sometimes when we send our thoughts to universe, pointing finger, without pointing finger, just a thought, it comes back to you. Is that true?
100%. And that's really strong because that's your feeling. And you always get and go to the place where it is. So even though you're putting it out there, you're saying it or not, even if you're thinking about it. So, wow, thank you. That was really, that was great. So thank you for that. That's wonderful. So what it is self-inquiring. Look within deeper and deeper until you realize it's not about them. They are reflecting or mirroring your unresolved, unhealed patterns to you. So you can lovingly change and realize your divine self. We hope this had some value to you, and you can take this and use this in your daily life.
So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us and giving us this wonderful privilege and opportunity to be of service. And if you're not happy or where you are, or you feel blocked or stuck and you would like assistance or guidance, please call Sungate Center at 847-345-0988. And you can have a session with either Sharon or Stephen so you can flow into your authentic divine self. So from both of us, we wish you a divine and wonderful, blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. It was amazing. Bye-bye, everyone. Till next time.